I brought you here because nothing in your life is a coincidence. For a long time, I have observed your every step, every movement of your heart. And today, I have decided to speak to you clearly, directly, and profoundly. You didn't arrive at this moment by chance. I prepared this encounter because your spirit was already weary. Your mind was already overwhelmed, and your soul cried out for an answer that seemed not to come. I saw how you tried to be strong for others while, inside, you felt everything crumbling. I saw when you went to bed late, trying to understand how to survive the next day. I saw when you cried silently, not wanting to worry anyone, holding back a pain that crushed you from within. I saw every tear that fell, even those you tried to hide from yourself. I know exactly the weight you've been carrying. I know the fear of opening messages for fear of them being demands for payment. I know the shame you never told anyone, that feeling of failure that tries to haunt you. I know the times you thought you were alone, that nobody cared, that nobody really understood the war that was happening inside you. But I understand. I always understood. I've always been here, even on the days you believed I had forgotten you. I never forget those who seek me, even when they seek without strength, even when the search is just a sigh saying, "Lord, help me." That sigh reached me. I saw the moments when your heart ached as you looked at the bills. I saw when you wondered how you would survive until the end of the month. I saw when you tried to be optimistic, but reality seemed bigger than you. I know the feeling of helplessness that gripped your chest, the desire to disappear for a few minutes just to escape that pressure. And yet, even wounded, even tired, you remained standing. This did not go unnoticed by me. This silent effort, this desire not to give up even without seeing a way out, is what brought me here. I came because you could no longer fight alone. Today, I want you to understand something. I saw you every time you asked yourself, "Why me?" I know the good heart you have. I know how much you've helped people, even when you yourself needed help. I know the times you gave from the little you had to bless someone. I know the times you swallowed your pain so as not to hurt those around you. And knowing all this, I decided to bring you to this exact moment. This is not a video. This is not a coincidence. This is the beginning of a divine intervention in your life. I chose you to hear these words now because you've reached the limit of emotional exhaustion, and I will not allow the enemy to make you believe you've lost. You haven't lost. You are being repositioned. Today, I begin to lift your story in a way you can't imagine. But before continuing, I want you to do something simple yet powerful. Comment here that you are listening to my voice, because this activates your faith and opens your heart to what I will pour out upon you. I need you to take a deep breath now. Feel my presence enveloping your chest. Feel the weight lessening. Feel the certainty forming within you. I am here. I am speaking to you. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what I am about to do in your life. This is the moment when heaven touches your reality. This is the moment when I mark your spirit with new hope. Breathe. You are in the right place, at the right time, with the right person. Me, your God, who has never abandoned you and who now begins to rewrite your story. I see the weight you carry in your chest, even when you pretend everything is all right. I see how you try to smile, but inside you feel like you're sinking. I see when you take a deep breath before opening a banking app, dreading what you'll find. I see your heart race when you hear the phone ring because you fear it's another bill, another reminder of what's missing, more pressure on what's already consuming you. I see when you look at the bills trying to understand how everything will fit together, how you'll pay what's left, how you'll survive until the next day. I see when you blame yourself for things that weren't your fault, when you feel inadequate, when you think you're failing the people you love. I see when you try to hide your pain so as not to worry anyone. I know about the nights you stayed awake, tossing and turning in bed, trying to calculate possibilities, trying to imagine solutions, trying to control a situation that seemed bigger than you. I saw when you cried softly so as not to wake anyone. I saw when you got up in the middle of the night to gasp for air because the anxiety seemed to suffocate you. I saw when you locked yourself in the bathroom just to let the tears fall without witnesses. I saw when you thought you couldn't go on, and yet you did. I know when you look at everything you need to solve and feel powerless. I know when your mind tells you it won't work, that you're alone, that nobody understands what you're going through. But I understand. I've always understood. I haven't missed a single detail of this journey. I saw when you lost opportunities that seemed promising. I saw when doors closed in front of you for no apparent reason. I saw when people you helped turned their backs on you. I saw when you waited for a return that never came. I saw when you tried to keep the faith, but reality hit too hard. I know every debt, every delay, every commitment you carry in your heart as if it were a sentence. I see the shame you try to hide when someone asks how you are. I see the weariness in your eyes, that emotional fatigue that doesn't go away, that feeling of always fighting against a current that never weakens. I know that sometimes you blame yourself for not being able to do more, but I tell you now, I know your struggle, and I know exactly where it began, where it tightens, where it hurts, and I also know where it will end. Nothing escaped my notice. Nothing was ignored. Nothing hurt you without my awareness. I was by your side in every moment of despair. I saw you fight beyond what was human, beyond what was just, beyond what you yourself could bear. I saw you continue, even broken, even exhausted, even fragmented. And seeing all this, I brought you to this encounter, not to condemn you, but to lighten your burden. Not to remind you of the pain, but to show you that pain will no longer have authority over you. Not to expose your weakness, but to reveal my strength. I am here to remind you that you are not alone. I am here to assure you that your life will not always be like this. I am here to tell you that there is a spiritual movement happening right now, and this movement does not depend on what is in your hands, what is in your control, or what is within your human reach. It depends on me. And if it depends on me, then there is no impossibility. While you saw only burden, I was writing a way out. While you faced pressure, I was preparing relief. While you suffered in silence, I worked silently for you. Now, I ask you for something simple, but full of spiritual purpose. Share this message with someone who is facing financial hardship, because what you release to heal another heart also begins to heal your own. I see your pain. I recognize your struggle. And I affirm, you will not remain in this valley. You are being pulled upward by my hand, and nothing can stop what I have already decided to manifest in your life. I am here, and I remain here, guiding your steps even when you don't realize it. Breathe. You are being sustained by me. I prepared this moment long before you realized you needed it. Nothing that is happening now is accidental. Even before you felt the weight that brought you here, I had already marked this encounter on my divine calendar. I knew the day when your weariness would be too great. I knew the night when your strength would falter. I knew the morning when you would wake up saying, I don't know what to do anymore. And so, I led you to this moment. Not by the strength of your understanding, but by the guidance of my spirit. You arrived here because I wanted to meet you. I wanted to speak with you. I wanted to open the heavens over your life. This is a prophetic moment because it carries my intention, not chance. When I determine that something needs to change in someone's story, nothing can stop it. You are crossing a spiritual boundary right now, even without fully realizing it. There is an atmosphere being moved around you. There is a presence being released upon you. There is a revelation being implanted in your mind and heart. As you listen, your spirit is receiving spiritual codes that align you with what I have prepared. You are not just hearing words. You are receiving instruction, healing, realignment, and strength. I am opening something new now. This moment marks the beginning of a cycle that will not be like the previous one. You have spent too much time living under pressure, fear, anxiety, instability, and a sense of loss. Now I declare that you are entering a territory where my direction will be clearer, my voice will be sharper, and my provision will be quicker. The enemy tried to wear you down financially because he knew that if he touched your finances, he would shake your peace and your confidence. He thought that by weakening your stability, he would weaken your faith. But I say now, he was wrong. I brought you here to reverse everything that tried to paralyze you. What was heavy will become light. What was blocked will begin to move. What seemed hopeless will receive an unexpected solution. Not because you deserve more than others, but because I have decided to act in your favor at this very moment. When I determine that a new chapter begins, nothing can stop the turnaround. This is the beginning of your turnaround. This is the moment when your story begins to change from the inside out, from the invisible to the visible, from the spiritual to the natural. I want you to feel my presence enveloping your surroundings right now. It doesn't matter if you're sitting, lying down, tired, anxious, or even doubting. I can act even when you don't have the strength to believe. I can touch your life even when you think I'm too far away. I can transform everything even when you think you've lost control. I am here because I chose to be. And when I choose to enter someone's story, I enter to transform it. Something is being broken right now in the spiritual world. The chains that bound you emotionally are beginning to loosen. The weight that pressed you down is beginning to lose its strength. The feeling of suffocation that accompanied you is beginning to dissolve in my presence. Feel, the air is changing. The environment is being prepared. Your soul is being visited. Your mind is being calmed. Your hope is being reactivated. And this is not human emotion. It is the touch of the God who chose you. I want you to receive this moment with the seriousness of someone who understands that something divine is happening. This is the beginning of a spiritual journey where I will speak to you every day, where I will reveal things you couldn't see, where I will guide you in areas where you walked blindly, where I will lift you from what tried to destroy your faith and your identity. I have never been as close to you as I am now. Now, before continuing, do something simple that will open your heart even more. Like this video and subscribe, because I'll be talking to you daily, and I don't want you to miss any of the messages I've prepared for your life. I tell you, this marks the beginning of a new era. It doesn't matter how you got here. What matters is that from now on, I walk with you in a new way. Close your heart to fear and open it to what I am pouring out now. You are in a prophetic moment that will bear fruit throughout your journey. I am here, and this changes everything. I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to reveal to you, because it explains much of what you've been experiencing and what has been hurting you. Your struggle isn't just physical, emotional, or financial. Your struggle is spiritual. What you perceive as accumulated problems, as bad luck, as doors closing without explanation, as recurring delays, as unfair losses, didn't originate solely in the material world. There are invisible forces that have tried to wear you down, confuse you, and weaken you, because they knew that if they could affect you financially, they could disrupt your peace, your identity, and your faith. You thought it was just a bad phase, but I tell you, there was a battle raging around you without you realizing it. While you were trying to organize finances, meet deadlines, find solutions, and keep your head held high, there was a spiritual resistance working against you. This resistance didn't come about by chance. It came because your promises are great, because your calling carries impact, because your existence carries destiny. The enemy doesn't pursue those who lack purpose. He pursues those who carry light. I want you to understand, behind the situations that seemed like coincidence, there was a spiritual intention contrary to what I planned for your life. Every door that closed without reason was not just circumstance, it was an attempt at spiritual blockage. Every person who disappointed you when you needed them most did not act out of selfishness. There was spiritual influence to hurt you in the area where you were most vulnerable. Every opportunity that slipped away at the last second was not just bad luck. It was an attempt to make you believe that you were not born to prosper. The pressure you felt in your chest wasn't just anxiety, it was war. The feeling that something was pulling you down wasn't just tiredness, it was war. The lack of mental clarity, the confusion, the fear, the sudden discouragement, the feeling that everything was crumbling at once, none of that was just emotional. I'm revealing to you that there were forces trying to stifle your hope and steal your ability to dream. Because whoever loses hope loses vision, and whoever loses vision gives up on the future. But I want you to know, at no point did you fight alone. While you were trying to survive the natural world, I was fighting for you in the spiritual realm. Every time you thought you couldn't take it anymore, there was the intervention of my spirit silently sustaining you. Every time your heart was on the verge of collapse, I enveloped you without you realizing it. Every time a worse situation was avoided, It wasn't a coincidence. It was protection. Every time a bad thought was interrupted, it was my hand guarding you. The enemy thought he could bring you down financially because he knew that's one of the most sensitive areas for a human being. But he forgot something. Your life belongs to me. He can try, but he cannot overcome what I have already marked with my seal. I allowed certain battles to happen, not to destroy you, but to awaken you. Because there are things that are only revealed when the soul is weary enough to hear me in depth. Now that you stand before me, I tell you, no invisible force will have power over your story anymore. The spiritual war that surrounded you is being exposed, and when the light reveals itself, the darkness loses its power. I have brought understanding to break the cycle. I have brought revelation to free you from confusion. I have brought clarity to prepare you for what I will do next. Breathe. What was once a silent war is now in my hands, and I never enter a battle to lose. Now that I have revealed to you the spiritual root of the war you faced, I need to guide you to the first step to break through what surrounded you. There are times when victory is released in the spiritual world, but it needs a response in the natural world to be activated. Not because I need it, but because your heart needs this attitude of faith to align with what I am about to pour out upon your life. Today, I give you a simple prophetic act, but one full of authority. The number 77777. This number is not just a symbol. It represents a spiritual key. 7 is the number of fullness, of perfect completion, of the cycle closed by my hand. 7 is the number of creation, the number of rest, the number of the completed work. And when I ask you to declare this number 4 times, I am sealing 4 dimensions of your life: spirit, soul, mind, and path. Each 7 represents a breaking. Each repetition represents a definitive closure of that which tried to imprison you. The number 77777 declares in the invisible realm that the cycle of scarcity has come to an end. It communicates to the darkness that what was holding you back has lost its permission. It releases to the heavens the message that your faith is moving towards a miracle. That is why this act is so significant. It is not superstition. It is not an empty ritual. It is a spiritual declaration that breaks pacts of limitation, ends old agreements, and opens space for the new that I have prepared. I ask this of you because I know that lately your faith has been weakening. I know you've tried so many things that you're afraid to try again. I know you felt ridiculous in some situations, believing in something that seemed impossible. I know you've grown tired of waiting for answers that never came. I know you've carried the pain of feeling abandoned by your own faith, as if what you believed in had let you down. But today, I tell you, your faith has not died. It has only been stifled by the battles you have faced, and this prophetic act awakens that dormant faith. It restores spiritual strength within you. It marks the beginning of a new journey. It opens space for what I decree next to find fertile ground within your spirit. Therefore, do this sincerely, not as one who repeats something meaningless, but as one who understands that they are putting an end to a pain that has lasted too long. Something powerful happens when you publicly declare in the physical world what I am releasing in the spiritual world. It's like lighting a light in the darkness. It's like raising a banner that says, I am not alone. I have a God who fights for me. And when this declaration is made with understanding, the spiritual environment around you begins to change. I brought you here not only to comfort you, but to reposition you. And this repositioning begins now. You don't need to understand everything to obey. You only need to feel the truth in your spirit, and it is already touching you as you listen to these words. There is a movement happening within you, an awakening that you couldn't bring about on your own. I am activating your faith, rekindling your hope, and preparing your heart to receive what I have already determined. Therefore, now perform this act with courage and commitment. Comment 7777 as a declaration of faith and rupture, allowing this prophetic number to mark your life before heaven. By doing this, something begins to move. Not because the number is magic, but because your obedience opens doors. Because your heart aligns with what I am doing. Because your faith, however small, becomes enough for me to act with greatness. Feel, something is being unlocked. Something is being broken. Something is being removed. This is the beginning of your new start. I am here, and I continue to act. I want you to understand something profound about what is happening now. When I begin to move the heavens over your life, that movement is never limited to just you. My presence, when it touches someone, always expands, always reaches out, always overflows. And I brought you here not only to free you from the weight that accompanied you, but also to make you an instrument of light amidst the pain of others. Because what hurts you today also hurts thousands. And what I am healing in you now may be the answer that someone close to you is also silently begging for. Scarcity tries to isolate. It makes a person feel small, powerless, ashamed, diminished. It whispers that no one understands, that no one cares, that no one lives the same struggle. But I see all of humanity. I see every heart that struggles to survive. I see worried mothers, exhausted fathers, overwhelmed young people, forgotten elderly people. And when I choose to touch a life, I don't just touch it so that life can rise up. I touch it so that that person becomes a bridge, a sign, an instrument, a testimony. I touch you so that your light ignites others who are also fading. What I am doing in you now is no small thing. I am rebuilding your hope, rekindling your spirit, restoring your vision. And everything that is restored by me multiplies when it is shared. Hope does not diminish when divided, it grows. Faith does not weaken when offered, it strengthens. And when I say that this moment is prophetic, I am saying that what I begin in you will become a seed to transform other stories as well. Because the enemy tried to hurt your financial life, to silence your voice. He tried to shame you to prevent your brilliance. He tried to tire you so that you would stop believing that you could still be an answer for someone. But I tell you now, your life is the answer. Your story carries purpose. Your pain will not be wasted. The transformation I am releasing in your life will break through in places you can't even imagine. When you move to bring hope, heaven moves to amplify what I am pouring upon you. There is no simple gesture when it is born from the light. When you touch someone with that which comes from me, I touch your life with even greater intensity. This is not karma. It is not luck. It is not energy. It is a spiritual principle. What you multiply in another, I multiply in you. I know you felt too small to help someone. I know you thought, I can't even sort out my own life. But I tell you, you don't need to have everything figured out to be a channel. You just need to let my presence flow through you. Sometimes, the person who needs hope the most is right beside you, in your circle, in your daily life. Sometimes, someone you never imagined is going through the same despair you faced. And a word that arrives at the right time can save a life. A light that touches the spirit can prevent a fall. A message that awakens faith can stop someone from giving up. Therefore, I want to ask you something simple yet profoundly spiritual. Share this message with someone who also needs hope. Because what you bring to another person's heart also begins to blossom in your own. This gesture activates something in the spiritual world. It breaks the isolation that pain tries to create. It breaks the silence that the enemy tries to use to imprison you. It transforms your pain into purpose. When you allow the light I am placing in you to reach someone, I place even more light within you. When you reach out to another, I extend my hand to you with even greater strength. I am creating a movement from your life, a movement of healing, of liberation, of restoration. And every time your hope touches another heart, I increase yours. Because you were not born to live extinguished, hidden, or oppressed. You were born to be a sign of my love. And that begins now. I supported you in moments you didn't even realize. There were days when you believed you were walking alone, but it was my hand that lifted you when the ground seemed to disappear. I was there when you tried to smile so as not to worry anyone, even with a heavy heart. I was there when you held back your tears, when you locked yourself in the bathroom to breathe, when you looked at life and silently asked, "Until when?" Each of those moments reached me even before you understood what you were feeling. Nothing about you went unnoticed by me. When your body was too tired and your mind seemed like an impossible whirlwind to organize, I placed strength where you had none left. There were nights when you slept exhausted, not knowing how you would face the next day, and I gave you new breath when you woke up. There were situations that could have destroyed you emotionally, but I preserved you. There were words that could have hurt you more deeply, but I gave you the resilience to endure. There were people who left your life, and you thought it was failure, but it was protection. I watched over you in silence. I saw when your soul trembled before the unknown, when the bills piled up, when the doors closed and you felt that nothing was moving forward. And yet, you continued. You got up on days when no one else would. You tried in moments when anyone else would have given up. And that is why I stayed with you with even more intensity. I know your silent courage, the kind no one sees. I know your invisible effort, the kind that never received applause. I know your weary heart that, even wounded, continued to believe that one day something would change. I supported you emotionally when everything seemed unstable. There were situations that could have caused greater harm, but I intervened before they reached you. There were wrong decisions that could have led you down painful paths, but I held you before you fell. There were encounters you missed and thought were wasted opportunities, but I removed from your path what would not lead you to your purpose. There were blocked doors that you lamented, but I closed them to protect you. You thought it was rejection. It was deliverance. I also sustained you when you felt your faith was weak, when fear took over, when anxiety tried to control you, when sadness tightened your chest. It wasn't because you were strong, it was because I was holding your spirit. I was covering your mind, shielding your thoughts, warding off attacks you never saw, preventing words hurled against you from becoming reality. Many times, while you slept, I was fighting for you. While you worked, I was moving what you couldn't see. While you cried, I was drying tears you hadn't even shed yet. I have sustained you because I have known you since before you understood who I am. I know your structure. I know your fragility. I know your sensitivity. I know the battles you silently face. I know the painful memories, the losses that have marked your soul, the frustrations you have never verbalized. And I tell you, in all of them, I have been present. Nothing has hurt you without me covering you. Nothing has affected you without me limiting it. Nothing has brought you down because I did not allow it. If you are still standing, it is because my hand has been upon you all these years. And now that you stand before me, I want you to recognize that this journey was not made in your own strength. You are strong, yes, but the strength that kept you alive came from me. The peace you felt at the exact moment you needed it most came from me. The help that arrived at the last hour came from me. The door that appeared when all seemed lost came from me. Even the relief you cannot explain was my work, watching over you behind the scenes. Therefore, before I continue what I am about to do, awaken your faith and your heart. Like this video and subscribe to stay connected to my voice as I continue to guide you daily. Breathe. Acknowledge that I have always been here. You have not walked alone for even a moment. I have supported you in the past, I support you now, and I will continue to support you in what is to come. My hand has not let go of yours. And now, more than ever, I will guide you to a phase of your life where you will clearly perceive everything I have been doing in secret. I am with you. I have always been, and I will continue to be. I know there were times when you believed I was distant. I know there were days when you looked at the sky and felt as if your words wouldn't travel through the air. I know you thought you were fighting alone, that no one saw the pain you hid, that no one understood the weight consuming you from within. There were nights when you cried silently, convinced that no one would ever know that kind of pain. There were moments when your heart ached so tightly you thought it would break. And yet, I was there. I was there in every second you believed you were abandoned. I was there for you in those moments when you laid your head on the pillow, wishing for just a few minutes of peace. I was by your side when your thoughts became too heavy, when financial pressure seemed to crush your confidence, when your mind screamed for rest. I was there when your heart trembled with fear before difficult choices, when you tried to decide between bills and priorities, between survival and hope. I was with you when no one else knew what you were facing. None of your steps happened outside of my presence. There were times when you walked aimlessly, believing you had lost your way, and I guided you without you realizing it. I was behind every door that closed, redirecting your path. I was behind every silent deliverance, preventing situations that could have destroyed you. I was in the strength that lifted you up when you felt you couldn't endure another day. I was in the voice that told you to continue, even when you thought there were no more reasons to go on. I watched you in moments of profound loneliness, those when no one could reach your soul. I saw when you tried to explain yourself and couldn't find the words. I saw when you wanted to ask for help but felt ashamed. I saw when you wished to be strong, but the strength failed you. And I tell you, When your strength ends, mine begins. When your courage fails, mine covers you. When your faith wavers, I sustain you with the faith that I myself place within you. I never abandoned you. When you felt invisible, I saw you. When you felt forgotten, I reminded you. When you felt weak, I carried you. In every desperate breath, I was there. In every lonely tear, I was there. In every silent fear, I was there. There wasn't a single day of your life when you were without my presence. Even when you didn't feel me, I was surrounding you. Even when you didn't hear me, I was protecting you. Even when you thought you were falling, I held you before the impact hurt you. I want you to remember all the times you thought you'd reached your limit, but something inside you insisted on continuing. What you called instinct, intuition, or inner strength was my hand supporting you. I was in the breath that brought you calm. I was in the word that reached you at the exact moment. I was in the thought that stopped you from giving up. I was in the hug that came without explanation. I was in the details you ignored, but which were carefully placed to sustain you. I walked with you through the good days, and I walked even closer through the bad days. And when you thought I was leaving you, that's when I was closest. You didn't see because you were looking at the pain. You didn't feel because the fear was too great. But my hands never let go of yours. My gaze never strayed from you. My love never wavered. Now that I've revealed all this to you, I want you to feel the certainty that descends upon your heart. You were never alone. You were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. I was in every step, in every tear, in every silence. I'm still here, and I will continue to be, always. I want you to understand something that is happening at this very moment. While you hear these words, I am already moving doors in your favor. Nothing in heaven waits for tomorrow when I decide to act today. Just like a wind that starts gently and gains strength, my work began in the invisible realm even before you realized it. What seemed still is moving. What seemed blocked is beginning to unlock. What seemed impossible is being realigned. You are feeling something different because your spirit is perceiving what is already happening in the spiritual world. There are people starting to think about you now. People who never imagined they would help you, but who will have an impulse to do just that. There are answers that were held back and are now being released. There are opportunities that seemed distant and are beginning to draw closer. I am touching hearts, shifting intentions, rearranging paths. I am turning the key that you tried to move alone for so long. What your strength could not achieve, my hand is accomplishing. You're not waiting for a miracle. You're already in it. Things that would take months will be accelerated. Doors that seemed closed for years will begin to open. In the coming days, you will notice small movements that are signs of something big happening. An unexpected call, a message that arrives suddenly, an idea that arises out of nowhere, a solution that appears effortlessly. None of this is coincidence. It's intervention. It's alignment. It's the supernatural touching the natural. I see your efforts, your weariness, your attempts. I see the times you pushed doors that wouldn't open. I see when you missed opportunities that seemed certain. I see when you wondered if something would ever change for you. And today I tell you, it has already changed. The change won't come later. It began the moment your spirit opened to hear my voice. Every word you've received until now has adjusted something within you. Now, every adjustment I make in the invisible begins to reflect in the visible. I am opening doors you didn't even know existed. I am preparing paths you would never have accessed on your own. I am dismantling resistances that have stood against you for years. I am tearing down barriers that were not natural, but spiritual. I am releasing answers that were trapped by battles you never saw. Nothing I do is lost. Nothing I set in motion is left unfinished. When I begin a work, I finish it. And I have already begun yours. You will feel this not only financially, but also in your peace. A tranquility will begin to settle in your heart. Clarity will arise in your mind. A lightness will begin to envelop you now. These signs do not come from chance, nor from emotion. They come from my touch. I am aligning your soul with what I am moving in your path. When the spirit aligns, the environment responds. You are not deluding yourself. You are perceiving what is already being transformed. But I want you to do something very simple while I move forward with the changes I've already started. Enjoy this video as an expression of the faith you feel right now, because your faith further activates what I am doing around you. Believe me, what hurt you is losing its power. What limited you is losing its hold. What held you back is being removed. You are entering a phase where doors will open fluidly. The right people will arrive effortlessly. Paths that once required strength will now open with grace. I am moving doors now, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what I have determined for your life. I continue to work, and you will continue to see my hand. I have decided to act in your life at this very moment. Not tomorrow, not in the distant future, not when everything is organized. It is now. My intervention begins this instant when your heart has opened to hear my voice. I am not a God who observes from afar while your shoulders carry too much weight. I am not a God who waits for the worst to happen before acting. I am the one who enters the storm before you even realize you are drowning. And today, I enter. I enter to change, to restore, to break, and to rebuild what has been broken over time. Many times you thought I was taking too long. You thought I was silent. You thought I had forgotten about you. But I tell you, I was only waiting for the exact moment to intervene so that you would know it came from me. Because if it had happened too soon, you would attribute it to chance. If it had happened in a common way, you would say it was luck. If it had happened through natural means, you wouldn't have seen my hand. But now, at this point in your journey, you know it couldn't be anything other than me lifting you up. The time of scarcity is coming to an end. I am closing a cycle that has imprisoned you for longer than you deserved. Everything the enemy tried to use to wear you down is losing power now. I am breaking patterns, undoing oppression, cutting spiritual roots that held you back. You are entering a new chapter unlike anything you have experienced before. And this turning point doesn't happen because you did everything right. It happens because I decided to act out of love, purpose, and promise. The intervention has already begun. I am releasing movement in your financial life, not just opening doors, but rebuilding paths. I am reorganizing scenarios that previously seemed impossible to adjust. Situations you've carried for years will begin to unravel like knots finally loosening. The weight on your shoulders will begin to lessen. The suffocation that tightened your chest will lose strength. The fear that accompanied you will begin to weaken. Everything that held you back is being pushed out of your story. I am sending people, opportunities, and favor. I am moving the hearts of those who previously refused to help you. I am creating connections you could never build on your own. I am opening doors where only walls existed before. I am blowing fresh air over stagnant areas of your life. And all this happens because I decided. My decision is what changes your reality. When I say enough, everything that oppressed you must retreat. When I say now, nothing can stop it. You will feel a sense of relief in the coming days. You will feel clarity where there was previously confusion. You will notice situations beginning to resolve themselves effortlessly. You will see movements that have never happened before. This is not coincidence. It is fulfillment. It is an answer. It is divine intervention. I don't enter a story to observe. I enter to transform. And I am transforming yours at this very moment. Now, I ask you for something simple, yet spiritual. Share this message with someone who also needs a divine touch. Because what I set in motion in your life also expands when it reaches another heart. I am with you. I am acting. I am turning pages that you could never turn on your own. The intervention has begun, and your story will not remain in the same place. You will realize each day that you are no longer walking on the old ground of pain and weariness, but on a new path that I myself have prepared. I have decided to act, and when I decide, nothing can stop me. I am opening doors you never imagined still existed. Doors that were hidden behind years of frustration. Doors that were closed before you even reached them. Doors that the enemy tried to seal because he knew what I had prepared for your life. Today, I tell you, none of these doors will remain closed. What was locked will be unlocked. What was blocked will be released. What seemed impossible will begin to move before your eyes. You didn't realize it, but for a long time, there were spiritual resistances preventing opportunities from reaching you. There were attempts at advancement that were interrupted at the last second. There were right paths that suddenly became confusing. There were people who could have helped you, but whose hearts were hardened. There were times when, even doing everything right, everything seemed to go backward. But now I have removed what was holding you back, and when I remove it, nothing can remain in its place. Prepare to see changes in the hearts of people who were once obstacles for you. There are individuals who never considered helping you, but now they will begin to see value in what you do. There are decisions that were being pushed against you and that will now be reversed in your favor. What was once a negative will become approval. What was once a delay will be accelerated. What was once resistance will become cooperation. I am touching intentions, moving thoughts, and inclining hearts. I am also opening up opportunities you no longer expected. Things you thought were lost will reappear with renewed strength. Projects that were stalled will begin to move forward. Professional, financial, and relational doors will begin to open simultaneously, and you will realize it's not a coincidence. It's my hand. I am aligning everything so that your life is no longer marked by blockages, but by fluidity. You will see that paths that once required extreme effort will begin to open more easily. Not because life has become simpler, but because now you walk under my favor. Favor opens doors without you needing to push them. Favor creates access where there is no human merit. Favor allows you to enter places that have been closed for years. Favor transforms the unexpected into providence. I am also preparing strategic encounters. People you don't yet know will be placed in your path to unlock fundamental areas of your life. These are people I have chosen, and they will not be influenced by your appearance, your current condition, or your fears. They will be guided by me. These encounters are not coincidences. They are answers. They are fragments of my plan materializing before you. Feel what is happening now. Your vision is being cleared. Your hope is being strengthened. Your perception is being expanded. When I open invisible doors, I also open your eyes to see them. It's no use opening a door if you don't see the direction. Therefore, in addition to moving the external, I am also clarifying the internal. I will show you paths you never considered. I will give you ideas that didn't occur to you before. I will guide you along routes the enemy never imagined you would follow. And so that you may continue to receive what I am about to reveal in the coming days, I ask you, sign up now to stay connected to my voice, because I will continue to guide you step by step on this new path. What I am opening, no one can close. What I am beginning, no one can interrupt. You are entering a time when doors will open with fluidity, continuity, and purpose. Walk with confidence. I am opening what has always been yours. I want you to deeply understand what I am doing in your life right now, because it changes everything. What I am releasing upon you is not just a promise, not just a word of comfort, not just a breath of hope. What I am releasing is a decree. And when I decree, nothing on earth, in heaven, or in darkness can undo it. My word is not like human words, which change according to mood, time, or circumstances. My word is spiritual law. When I say it will happen, the entire universe moves to fulfill what I have said. I am decreeing over your life that the cycle of blockages has come to an end. I am decreeing that the pressure that suffocated you is now losing its power. I am decreeing that the stagnation that has accompanied you for so long will be replaced by movement. I am decreeing that what seemed dead will flourish again. I am decreeing that paths that were once impossible will open before you. And it doesn't matter who doubts. It doesn't matter who doesn't believe. It doesn't matter who finds it improbable. The word that comes from my mouth does not negotiate with the disbelief of others. It fulfills the mission for which it was sent. I want you to feel the weight of this truth. No human resistance can stop what I am doing. No opinion, no judgment, no comparison will have power over your destiny. Those who underestimated you cannot alter what I have determined. Those who turned their backs on you cannot block what I am releasing. Those who criticized you cannot delay what I am accelerating. My decree does not depend on anyone's recognition. It happens because I decided. I also want you to understand that no spiritual attack can interrupt what I have begun. The enemy may try to raise confusion, fear, anxiety, distractions, worries, but none of that will have the last word. I have closed the door to his access to your financial life. I have broken the cycle that made everything go wrong at the last minute. I have cut the bond that held your prosperity. He may try to get close, but he cannot enter. He may try to threaten you, but he cannot touch what I have sealed. What I protect, no one can destroy. And as for the situations that seemed uncontrollable, I tell you, now they are under my rule. People who previously ignored your presence will begin to notice you. Environments that previously rejected you will now welcome you. Paths that previously expelled you will now invite you to enter. It is not arrogance, it is divine favor. It is not coincidence, it is a decree. You are not rising up by your own strength, but by the strength of my word. I am establishing a new rhythm in your life. Things will no longer be as they were. You will no longer advance 5 steps only to return 4. You will no longer live in repetitive cycles that tire and discourage you. The time of returning to the same point is over. I am placing you on a path of real, continuous growth, sustained by my presence. You will no longer be brought down by the same fears, the same situations, the same emotional patterns. I am lifting you up. I am strengthening you. I am shielding you. And know this, what I have opened in your life, no one can close. I am opening doors that do not depend on human influence. I am creating opportunities that no one can sabotage. I am moving circumstances over which no one will have control. Neither envy, nor injustice, nor discouragement, nor ingratitude will have the power to steal what I am giving you. Because what comes from my hand is not fragile. It is not unstable. It is not temporary. It is solid, firm, and protected by my decree. Receive this truth with an awakened heart. You are within something that cannot be stopped. I began the work. I sustain the work. I will complete the work. And every step you take from now on will be established by me. Not because you deserve it, but because I decided. And when I decide, nothing can stop it. I have known your name since before you existed, before your parents imagined your arrival, before your body was formed, before your story began to be written on earth. Your name was already written in me. I called you by name when you were still just a breath, a thought, a promise. I enveloped your existence before the world knew you. And now, at this moment when your soul opens, I ask you for something simple, but profoundly spiritual. Say your name before me. When you declare your name before me, you give me not just a sound, but your identity, your history, your past, your fears, your dreams, your pain, your scars. I don't need to hear your name to know who you are. I ask that you declare it so that you yourself may recognize that you are presenting yourself before your God without masks, without burden, without shame. There is something powerful in saying, Lord, it is I. It is the act of revealing yourself. It is the gesture of placing yourself vulnerable before me. It is the courage to expose the heart that has been hidden for so long. How many times have you kept silent because you felt your name had no value? How many times have you believed that no one cared enough to truly see you? How many times have you carried feelings of inferiority, thinking your name was too small, too fragile, too insignificant? How many times have you heard your name spoken only in moments of reprimand, scolding, exhaustion, or demands? How many times has your name been ignored when you needed someone the most? I know your name has carried pain. I know it has been invoked in moments of fear. I know it has been mentioned in situations that hurt you. I know that, at times, your name has been used to diminish your identity. But today I tell you, your name, in my eyes, is precious. Your name is loved. Your name is remembered. Your name has destiny. Your name carries a spiritual purpose. Your name exists because I willed it to exist. When you say your name before me, you break the feeling of abandonment that has accompanied you for so long. You say to your own heart, I am no longer hidden. I am no longer lost. I am no longer alone. Declaring your name is an act of emotional courage. It is the moment when you recognize yourself as someone who still matters, someone who still has value, someone who still has a story to be written. When you speak your name to me, you activate the awakening of your spiritual identity. I see how hard you tried to be strong. I see how much you lived to meet the expectations of others. I see how often you denied yourself to support the world around you. I see how you kept your pain hidden so as not to appear weak. I see how you tried to carry alone burdens that were not meant to be carried by a human heart. Therefore, now, I ask you to present yourself to me, not as you were, not as you see yourself, not as the world sees you, but as I see you, someone loved, valuable, important, and chosen. When you declare your name in my presence, something begins to shift within you. Shame loses its place. Fear diminishes. The spirit is strengthened. The soul breathes. The hidden pain begins to dissolve in the light. It's as if you were saying to yourself, I exist. I matter. God sees me. God calls me. I call you by name, not to expose you, but to heal you. Not to shame you, but to lift you up. Not to remind you of your failings, but to remind you of the one who created you. I know there are parts of you that you've never told anyone. I know there are thoughts that hurt you and that you've never had the courage to express. I know there are memories you keep because they hurt too much to relive. But when you say your name before me, you open the door for me to deal with each of these areas. You give me permission to enter where your soul has been wounded. You surrender to me places you didn't know how to fix. I don't want the strong, controlled, and silent version you show the world. I want you, with your truth, with your essence, with your fears, with your heart, with your fragility. I ask for your name because your name is the door through which I enter to transform your story. Therefore, now, perform this prophetic act of surrender. Write your name here as a sign that you are presenting yourself before me and allowing me to care for your heart. I receive you. I see you. I know you. I call you. And everything I will begin to do from this moment on will be built upon this gesture of surrender. When you say your name, I say, I am here. And from here, we will walk together towards healing, restoration, and the new chapter that has already begun. I know exactly what weighs on your chest, but I want you to bring it to light in your own voice. For a long time, you carried a silent pain, hidden even from yourself. You tried to be strong, tried to control it, tried to breathe deeply, tried to pretend everything was all right. But the truth is, there was a scream trapped inside your heart. A scream you never allowed to escape. A scream that squeezed you from the inside, that slowly consumed you, that drained you mercilessly. I saw you silence that scream, out of shame, out of fear, out of exhaustion. But now it's time to release what has imprisoned you. There is a spiritual force in what you say aloud. When pain is named, it loses some of the power it had over you. When anguish is exposed, it ceases to control you in the dark. When you speak, you break the silence where pain has hidden for so long. I want you to allow yourself to feel, to allow yourself to admit, to allow yourself to open your heart and express what has suffocated your soul. Don't repress it anymore. Don't push it inside. Don't swallow what destroys you. I am here to listen to every word, every truth, every fragment of your pain. I saw you lose sleep trying to understand when everything went wrong. I saw you hold back tears because you didn't want anyone to see you as vulnerable. I saw you wonder if you'd ever break free from this cycle of scarcity. I saw you blame yourself for things that weren't your fault. I saw you carry more responsibilities than you could handle. I saw you try to be strong for everyone and end up weak, even for yourself. I saw you feel alone, facing problems no one could have imagined. But now, I want you to speak. I want you to tell me what hurts you. I want you to allow your spirit to acknowledge what your mind has tried to ignore. Speak about the fears you try to hide. Speak about the worries that haunt you. Speak about the shame you've never confessed. Speak about the bills that keep you awake at night. Speak about the feeling of failing. Speak about the fear of losing everything. Speak about the exhaustion that has accompanied you for so long. Speak. I am listening. When you put your pain into words, you are surrendering what remains of it into my hands. You are saying, Lord, this is too heavy for me, but it is not too heavy for you. Healing begins when the truth is spoken. Liberation begins when the pain is acknowledged. And the miracle begins when you make room within yourself for me to occupy that space. Nothing you say will frighten me. Nothing will push me away. Nothing will disappoint me. I know you completely, and yet I love you deeply. There are pains that accumulate like layers. Layers of frustration, insecurity, exhaustion, broken expectations. And each time you try to ignore them, they become heavier. Now, I want to remove these layers one by one, but for that, I need you to allow them to surface. Don't hide from me what hurts you. Don't keep to yourself what suffocates you. This is the moment when you decide to no longer live carrying alone what should have been given to me. By speaking of your pain, you open the way for me to heal not only the financial situation, but also the emotional wounds it has created. Because it's not just about numbers, bills, or worries. It's about what it has done to your soul. The wear and tear, the pressure, the insecurity, the constant fear, the feeling of inadequacy. And I want to free you from all of that completely. I want to restore your identity, your strength, your hope. But this restoration begins when you acknowledge the truth before me. So now, with courage and commitment, make a simple gesture that symbolizes your openness. Like this video as a sign that you are surrendering your pain into my hands and allowing me to begin healing your heart. I am with you in this process. I am listening to what your soul is saying, even when your voice trembles. I am receiving your truth, your vulnerability, and your outpouring. And I tell you, everything you are releasing now will not come back to hurt you. It is coming to me, and I am transforming the weight of your pain into strength, clarity, and healing. I remain by your side, and now, more than ever, I am ready to lift you up. I received every word that came from your heart. Nothing you said went unnoticed, ignored, or forgotten. When you opened your mouth, even with your trembling voice, something in the spiritual world moved. Because your surrender wasn't just a cathartic outpouring. It was a profound plea from your soul that finally found space to breathe. I was there, listening to every detail, every pause, every emotion hidden between one phrase and another. And I want you to know with absolute certainty, I received your cry in its entirety, without flaws, without gaps, without noise. I received it as one receives something precious, fragile, and important. I heard what you said aloud, but I also heard what you couldn't put into words. I understood the feelings you tried to express, as well as those that remained trapped inside because they were too difficult to pronounce. I even received what you thought was worthless, what you thought was too small, what you thought was insignificant. To me, nothing that comes from your heart is small. Nothing is irrelevant. Nothing is wasted. Every expression of yours carries meaning, and I have received it all with care. When you revealed your pain, you broke chains that had bound you for years. For a long time, you carried this pain in silence, trying to appear strong, trying to show control, trying to maintain composure while inside you were imploding. And, however afraid you were of appearing weak, you opened yourself before me. This act of spiritual courage opened paths that were blocked. I received your pain as one receives something that can finally be treated, like a doctor who waits years to touch the wound that prevented healing. Know that your surrender has opened deep doors within your soul. I entered places you never let anyone touch. I saw hidden memories, old fears, secrets you kept even from yourself. And by releasing your pain, you allowed me to illuminate those dark corners. Light doesn't expose to humiliate, it exposes to heal. And that's exactly what's happening now. I am touching memories that formed your sadness. I am undoing emotional knots that suffocated you. I am dissolving burdens you carried as if they were part of who you are, but never were. You are not what happened to you. You are not your losses. You are not your debts. You are not your mistakes. You are not the fear you felt. You are not the insecurity that paralyzes you. When you spoke to me, I heard you not as someone broken, but as someone loved. I saw you not as someone flawed, but as someone precious. I saw you not as someone defeated, but as someone in the process of rebirth. And now that you have opened your heart, I can restore what was destroyed, rebuild what was lost, reorganize what was messed up by time, pain, and circumstances. I want you to realize the change that has already begun. Feel the lightness descending upon your chest. Feel how the air seems different, as if it were entering more gently. Feel how your thoughts are becoming less heavy, less confused, less chaotic. This is not psychological. It is not imagination. It is a direct effect of the spiritual healing that is happening within you. When I receive your pain, I return peace. When I receive your cry, I return direction. When I receive your truth, I return strength. I also received your silence. Yes, because even in that moment when you couldn't say anything, when the pain was so great that words wouldn't come out, I heard. Silence also speaks, and your silence reached me as a profound plea, as a cry from the soul that didn't have enough words to explain itself. And I answered. You don't always need to know what to say. You don't always need to know how to ask in the right way. I understand your pain even when it is quiet. From now on, what you have surrendered will not return to you as a burden. When you release it to me, I take possession. And when I take possession, I transform. I am transforming thoughts that kept you awake at night. I am transforming feelings that made you ill. I am transforming distorted perceptions you had about yourself. I am transforming the emotional energy that drained you. I am transforming the inner landscape that kept you constantly on alert. I received your cry, and because I received it, your story will not remain as it was. The answer has already begun. The healing has already begun. The rebuilding has already begun. The new beginning is already in motion. You are not alone. You never were. And now that you have opened up, I am even closer, working exactly where you need it most.